Hey guys, it's Miss Thomas here. So we are going to be starting our map paintings. So what you're going to need your printout. If this is not something that you can do at home, print out a screenshot of a place that is important to you. Get me the file and I will print it for you. I'm going to use this black and white one. You don't have to use color. I just thought I'd show you this is what it looks like if you're able to print in color. But we're not going to copy these colors, so we really just need to know the shapes. So this works just fine. You also want to have a ruler. I'm going to use this to draw my grid on my reference, and I'm going to use this for my drawing. And again, ruler and your final paper. So I'm going to start with just my reference. So this is a screenshot of a place I've lived before. It's of the city where I lived in France, and I found a space that was balanced for me. I want a square. I want to work in a square picture plane. So I'm going to let you know that this is basically, we're going to just make it easier, 6.5 inches wide. I'm going to go down here because if you measure once, you got to measure twice. 6.5. So I'm going to cut off about 1/8 of an inch. So line up my measurements, make my mark. This we know no longer need. Not interested. Not going to use it. Now from the top to the bottom, I like the bottom more, so I'm going to go, I don't mind losing a tiny bit off the top. I'd rather lose a tiny bit off the top in this composition than the bottom. So I'm going to, because it's square, so I want it to be the same on each side. 6.5. And then I'm going to just get rid of that top part that I'm not super interested in keeping. I have my two measurements. I'm going to go ahead and make my line. And now this, no longer needed. We're not going to use that. Not going to use that as a reference. So I'm going to go ahead and now create a 4-quadrant grid just so that I can stay relatively in proportion. It's pretty easy. So 6.5 divided by 2. I'm going to make it a little easy on myself. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Half, so 50. Think of it as 50 if we're thinking about 100 or like $1, 100 cents. Half is 50, so it's 1/4 or 25. So that's 3 and 1, 2, 3 quarters. Three and 1/4. So mine is 6.5. Cool. Now I have my two markers. I'm going to go ahead and draw. It can be a little bit lighter. I'm already emphasizing it enough by using a blue pencil. And now I'm going to do the same thing, but for my horizontal line. So 3 and 1/4, 3 and 1/4. I'm going to be real with you. I think I messed it up by 1/8 to 1/16. I'm going to double check again. And double check my measurements. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's basically correct. Maybe I got this line wrong. Aha, it was this one. And voila, now I have my 4-quadrant grid on my reference. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but much lighter because you don't want it to show through on your painting on my canvas here. So this is 9 inches wide and 9 inches tall. So what's half of 9? It's an odd number. I'm going to make it easy. Going to take it down to 8. Half of 8 is 4. Then you have your 1 whole left. What is half of that 1? Half. So it's 4 and 1/2. So I have my measurements. I line them up. Draw my line really lightly. Now I'm going to do the same thing this way, and it's a square, so it's the same measurement. So I just need 4.5. And that's really light because we're going to erase that later. It's just there to help us keep our proportions in line. So now this is our center point on our painting, center point and your reference. So you can use this. So if this shape hits here, that's what I want it to do over here. Okay. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. So what's the center? This looks kind of centered. So center over here. And then just lightly draw in your shapes. You're not doing any shading, just creating your shapes. I'm drawing a little bit too much from my wrist and not enough from my arm or my shoulder to make some of these marks. And some of this you're going to have to leave out. You do not have to include every little thing. That's okay. Check your angles.